gangs that are afoot. Well, 2 days after pro-Khalistan groups or slogans had appeared at multiple metro stations and spots in the national capital, including the Shivaji Park, Madipur, Paschim Vihar, Udyog Nagar, the Maharaja Surajmal Stadium, and some other places. Top sources within the security establishment are revealing that these K groups are misusing the K groups or vested interests who are operating from outside our soil are actually using or misusing Sikh youth for pushing in anti-national propaganda. This is no organized group. We are given to understand the investigations have found that the painting or graffiti are not part of an organized group. Our group editor security Manoj Gupta are getting us these details. Let's try and break it down for you how this entire modus operandi is. Now, one interesting part as we get into it, ladies and gentlemen, what was manifest in Australia, what was manifest in the UK, what was manifest on display in Canada is now being practiced or being being attempted in India itself, in Delhi, just to give some kind of wind and some kind of activity to this entire failed attempt by these K gangs, and they've all been scuttled there. So they're trying to do this here. Why? And this is in the build-up to the G20. So I think we need to have some pragmatism there and understand that these units are all activating themselves just to create a certain kind of mahal and drag a certain kind of negative attention towards India. But this is a failed attempt, and we'll tell you why. This is the input that we have. Intel sources revealed to News18 that anti-national graffiti is the handiwork of misled youth, Sikh youth. Khalistani groups are identifying youth who look and they try and find out these people on social media who may be slightly in a mode looking for certain kind of content. Then they are cultivated, they are radicalized, and then they are encouraged. They are mainly born after 1984, and they are in the grip of these pro-Khalistan outfits which use that 84 narrative wrongly, and they try and erase the entire history of Sikhi in India and how it came and its contribution towards keeping India safe. All of that is erased, and then it's just this brainwashing of a particular narrative. They start radicalizing them with their agenda, and by painting a picture that Sikhs in India are oppressed, which is far, far, far from reality. So, but that's what they're painted. They're given a radicalized picture of Operation Blue Star and the 84 massacre. K groups ask these groups then that go ahead and paint walls and put up these flags just to create a certain kind of drama and attention. And what happens is they do this in the lure of money. They are promised anywhere between $1,000 to $2,000 for every flag or every graffiti that is put, or the video that they post, and then it gets circulated. But what happens the moment they are removed? The flags are removed, the graffiti is removed, cops are swinging into action, there is no outright support for all of this. So then these youth are said, ki bhai, tumko kaha tha lagao, tumne nahi lagaya, to utar gaya, now we will not pay you the money. So this is also a modus operandi. They lure them in and then they hang them out to dry there. And what's happening? These youth are captured. These youth are caught on CCTV cameras, or there is intel human that points to them, and then they have FIRs lodged against them. Then they are already blacklisted and they are seen as criminals. So this is what they are doing. They're corrupting the minds, and then they are very clearly putting the future of these youth in jeopardy. The other thing, CNN News 18 had, and here on the right stand also, we had earlier reported how there are no takers for extremist agenda, and the rise of these extremist fringe pro-Khalistan ideologies and these elements is creating a negative impact on Sikhs across the world. And what's happening is that Sikhs who want to speak out, they are also being pressured, they are being bullied by these fringe elements. They are being forced into being quiet, because if they speak out, then they are selectively targeted. They are targeted with cuss words, with a lot of invectives, conjecture, and then they are also threatened. So all of these things happen. Intel source revealed that the moderates feel that they are not seen respectfully by host countries also, where they are staying in. The entire Sikh community is getting a bad name, and the community feels they are losing respect due to separatist radical approach. Sikh groups feel that they are known for their hospitality, charity, and this is all being marred by this vandalism, gundagardi, and this violence that's on display by these fringe elements, these K gangs. The alleged leaders only speak of separation and have no association with Guru Granth Sahib. A lot of these people who are saying that they're doing it for Sikhi don't even practice Sikhism properly. They don't even follow the tenets of Sikhi, the 5 basic tenets that have been mandated by the gurus. They don't follow that either, but all they do is rabble rouse and radicalize. Sense of leadership void among Sikhs in UK, USA, Germany, France and Canada, and that makes them very, very easy prey for these elements. They say that Sikhs in other parts of the globe are harassed or threatened by aggressive Sikh activists. Many Sikh groups feel this Khalistan issue is being blown out of proportion in India. It does not have legs. But more importantly, the right minds, the moderates, those who have nothing to do with it, this is the big majority. They are forced into silence because their own families are targeted, their shops are vandalized, their businesses are hurt. These fringe elements get very, very emboldened. And that is something we need to really act against, and this is not, they should not get the kind of voice and traction that they're getting. But this is a full racket. This is the modus operandi stands exposed. Let's go across to our guests who are joining us this evening. We have Puneet Sani, activist, joining us. We also have Kuldeep Singh, director MATV. But first I'd like to say Namaste, Jai Hind, and go straight across to Jaswant Singh Thekedar, the Prabandhak, Gurdwara Miri Piri in London. Namaste, gentlemen. Thank you very, very much. But Jaswant Singh ji, let me ask you, how can this be countered? Because whenever I speak about this, whenever we raise this, the counter question comes is, where is the Akal Takht? Where are the gurus? Where are the Jathedars? Where are the big voices from the community? Why are they not condemning these actions? And that's the reason why these K gangs are getting emboldened. Sir, your point of view.
एक SFJ एक गुंडा ग्रुप है, ये हायर करके पैसे दे के लोगों तो काम कराते हैं. कोई भी खालिस्तान की लहर या आज़ादी की लहर इदां दे पैसे मनी दे के लोगों को पसंदी नहीं. पंजाब विच 200-250 नौजवान इन्हां दे कहण दे उत्ते उन्हां दे केस रजिस्टर हो चुके ने. और जिन्ना चिर सरकार इन्हां नूं SFJ नूं नहीं हत्थ पाउंदी उन्नी देर कुछ नहीं होना. सरकार बहुत लाइटली इन्हां नूं लै रही है और इन्हां नूं गुआंढी देश सपोर्ट कर दिया वा. ये पैसे का लालच दिंदे ने, पैसे दिंदे किसी नूं नहीं. और ਉਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਆ ਗਰੀਬ ਲੋਕ ਆ ਉਹ ਮਾਰ ਖਾਂਦਾ ਆ. ਔਰ ਇਹ ਬੰਦਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਨਾ ਇਹ ਆਪ ਸਿੱਖਿਆ ਨਾ ਇਹਨੂੰ ਸਿੱਖੀ ਦਾ ਪਤਾ ਵਾ. ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਜਥੇਦਾਰ ਨੇ ਜਾਂ ਹੋਰ ਜਥੇਬੰਦੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਉਹ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਤੋਂ ਡਰਦੀਆਂ ਨੇ, ਉਹ ਕੁਝ ਕਹਿਣ ਨੂੰ ਤਿਆਰ ਨਹੀਂ. ਹੈ ਬਦਲ
पर क्या आप ये मानेंगे जसवंत सिंह जी, मैं बहुत कि कई बार ये एलिगेशंस लगते हैं कि गुरुद्वारों में भी ऐसी बातें होती हैं, क्या ये सही है? या फिर कम्युनिटी में क्या इन बच्चों को समझाया जाता है? ये बच्चे छोटी नंबर्स में हैं या ये बहुत बड़े नंबर्स में हैं? जरा हमें बताइए.
ਇਹ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰੇ ਕੋਈ ਇੱਕ ਅੱਧਾ ਹੋਏਗਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਆਪਣਾ ਕਬਜ਼ਾ ਉੱਥੇ ਗੱਲ ਹੋ ਸਕਦੀ ਆ. ਆਮ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰਿਆਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਦਾਂ ਦੀ ਕੋਈ ਗੱਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗੀ, ਪਰ ਇਹ ਬੜੇ ਥੋੜੇ ਜਿਹੇ ਨੇ. ਪਰ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਨਾ ਇੱਕ ਕਹਿ ਲਓ ਗੰਦੀ ਮੱਛੀ ਤਲਾਅ 'ਚ ਸੁੱਟ ਦਿਓ ਤਾਂ ਸਾਰੇ ਤਲਾਅ ਨੂੰ ਗੰਦਾ ਕਰ ਦਿੰਦੀ ਆ. ਇਹ ਉਹ ਹਿਸਾਬ ਆ. ਇਹ ਥੋੜ੍ਹੇ ਲੋਕ ਨੇ, ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਲੋਕ ਨਹੀਂ. ਪਰ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਜਿੰਨਾ ਚਿਰ ਕੰਟਰੋਲ ਨਾ ਕੀਤਾ ਗਿਆ, ਜਿੰਨਾ ਚਿਰ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਖਿਲਾਫ ਪੂਰਾ ਪ੍ਰਚਾਰ ਨਾ ਕੀਤਾ ਗਿਆ, ਉਨੀ ਦੇਰ ਇਹ ਸੂਤ ਨਹੀਂ ਆਉਣਾ. ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰਿਆਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਏਦਾਂ ਦਾ ਕੋਈ ਕੈਂਪ ਨਹੀਂ ਲੱਗਦਾ. ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰੇ ਵਾਲੇ ਕੋਈ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਸਪੋਰਟ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਦੇ. ਪਰ ਇਹ ਇੱਕ ਦੋ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰੇ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਇਹ ਕਾਬਜ਼ ਨੇ ਔਰ ਇਹ ਪੈਸਾ ਕਿੱਥੋਂ ਆ ਰਿਹਾ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਇਹ ਰੱਬ ਜਾਣੇ. ਇਹ ਤਾਂ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਹੀ ਪਤਾ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੀ ਹੈ ਕਿੱਥੋਂ ਕਰੋੜਾਂ ਦੇ ਹਿਸਾਬ ਦਾ ਪੈਸਾ ਖਰਚਦੇ ਆ. ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਆਪਣਾ ਇੱਥੇ ਇੱਕ TV ਚੈਨਲ ਵੀ ਹੈਗਾ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਦਿਨ ਰਾਤ ਇਹ ਪ੍ਰਚਾਰ ਕਰਦੇ ਨੇ. ਜਿੰਨਾ ਚਿਰ 2-4 ਚੈਨਲ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਗਲਤ ਕੰਮਾਂ ਦਾ ਜਵਾਬ ਨਾ ਦੇਣਗੇ ਰੈਗੂਲਰ, ਇੱਕ ਦਿਨ नहीं रेगुलर, उन्नी देर ये पीछे नहीं हटना.
पर क्या इनके माँ बाप को ये पता भी होता है कि ये लड़के ऐसा सब कर रहे हैं?
ਜਿਹੜੇ ਮਾਂ-ਬਾਪ ਆ ਉਹ ਇਹ ਸੋਚਦੇ ਆ ਵੀ ਇਹ ਸਿੱਖੀ ਵਾਲੇ ਬੰਨੇ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਨੇ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਬਾਹਰ ਦੇ ਦੇਸ਼ਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਸਿੱਖੀ ਆ ਪਹਿਲੇ ਨਾਲੋਂ ਬੜੀ ਪ੍ਰਫੁੱਲਤ ਹੋਈ ਆ. ਇਹ ਗੱਲ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਮੰਨ ਲੈਣੀ ਚਾਹੀਦੀ ਆ. ਜਿਹੜੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਪਹਿਲੇ ਕਲੀਨ ਸ਼ੇਪ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਸੀ ਹੁਣ ਸਿੱਖ ਬਣ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ, ਪਰ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਗੁੰਮਰਾਹ ਕੀਤਾ ਜਾ ਰਿਹਾ। ਇਹ ਗੁੰਮਰਾਹ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੋਣ ਡਏ ਨੇ ਬੱਚੇ, ਉਹ ਕੱਲਾ ਇੱਥੇ ਪੈਸੇ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗੀ, ਪਰ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਜਾਂ ਹਿੰਦੁਸਤਾਨ 'ਚ ਇਹ ਪੈਸੇ ਦਾ ਲਾਲਚ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਜਾਂਦਾ। ਇੱਥੇ ਪੈਸੇ ਦਾ ਨਹੀਂ, ਇੱਥੇ ਗਲਤ ਪ੍ਰਚਾਰ ਦਾ ਲਾਲਚ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਜਾਂਦਾ। ਐਵਰੀ ਟਾਈਮ ਇਹ ਐਂਟੀ ਇੰਡੀਅਨ ਜਾਂ ਐਂਟੀ ਸਲੋਗਨ ਇਹ ਕੋਈ ਨਾ ਕੋਈ ਲਾ ਕੇ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਦੇ ਨੇ, ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨੂੰ रोकना चाहिए।
कुलदीप सिंह जी, ये एंड पुनीत I'll come to you after that। कुलदीप सिंह जी, जो जसवंत सिंह जी कह रहे हैं, do you agree, disagree, and why is it that we are seeing the same format being adopted across multiple continents and multiple countries, and it's a similar format that's now being tried in Delhi?
Anand, thanks for having me on the show, but well, what he has said is absolutely correct. It's a small number of people. There are not too many people who are involved in this Khalistani, so-called Khalistani movement. In fact, there is no Khalistani movement. It's just a miscreant story. One single person sitting in US, I'm speaking about Pannu, Gurpatwan Singh Pannu, is being funded by somebody to create this ruckus in India, Canada, England, and to some extent in Germany now. But the whole story is they don't have any idea. They don't want to sit with the real people. They don't want to talk to the real people. They don't want to meet genuine people. What they are doing is they are just playing a game. Let us put this on the wall and let's see the impact. Put that on the wall and let us see the impact. See, they did the similar thing, and it's all these boys which are doing this are just paid a small amount of money to start with, and then promised a moon, but that moon doesn't come up. See, somebody was recently offered around, I think, over $1 million to put a flag on the Red Fort. So somebody, a friend of mine, wrote back that, okay, why don't you do it and take that million yourself? So it's the same story. They have nothing concrete as a plan. It's a mischievous game against the government of India. Government of India should take cognizance and get rid of these kind of factors like Pannu. Pannu has some people in UK also. Pannu has some people in Canada also, and this is what they do. They go to the temples, desecrate temples. They go to the walls of the High Commission, write something there. They go to our Consul General's offices, residences. See, there was a case in San Francisco. They tried to burn the consulate, but it was just a mischievous act. It wasn't very great kind of serious issue, but yes, it is. What they are trying to do is create some news so that they remain in news, and their bosses somewhere sitting. I think it's Pakistani intelligence which is controlling them. So it is to appease their bosses in Pakistan, so that they know that our boys are doing some good work, some hard work, and disturbing the peace in India. So it has got only a social media impact plus a bit of impact on media. Otherwise, not a single Sikh is in their favor. A good Sikh never gets into these kind of scenarios. He is pro-India, he is very positive, and I meet a lot of Sikh community people in this country also, and I've never seen a person from UK, normal, who's talking in this kind of sense, what they are trying to create. So,
but Jaswant Singh ji, before I bring in, now Kuldeep Singh ji, just allow me to go back to Jaswant Singh ji and ask this before I go bring in Puneet. Puneet, thank you for your patience. But Jaswant Singh ji, when we saw what happened with the consulate, the High Commission in London, what was done after that? उसके बाद क्या मजम्मत हुई थी, क्या कम्युनिटी के अंदर क्या मैसेजिंग गई थी? क्योंकि वो लोग तो वहाँ दिन दहाड़े ब्रिटिश हाई कमीशन में भारत के जो दूतावास में जो उन्होंने किया लंदन में, उसके बाद क्या करेक्टिव एक्शन लिया गया जी?
ਜਿਹੜੀ ਆਮ ਜਨਤਾ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਬੜਾ ਗਲਤ ਫੀਲ ਕਰਦੀ ਆ, ਪਰ ਇੱਕ ਗੱਲ ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਕਲੀਅਰ ਦੱਸ ਦਿਆਂ, ਇਹ ਇੱਕ ਦੋ ਨਿਊਜ਼ ਨਾਲ ਜਾਂ ਇੱਕ ਦੋ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਕਰਨ ਨਾਲ ਇਹ ਠੀਕ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋਣੇ। ਜਿੰਨਾ ਚਿਰ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਖਿਲਾਫ ਪੂਰੀ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਬੈਕਗਰਾਉਂਡ ਨਹੀਂ ਦੱਸੀ ਜਾਂਦੀ, ਜਿਵੇਂ ਕਿ ਸੀਰੀਅਲ ਬਣਨ, ਫਿਲਮਾਂ ਬਣਨ, ਕਿਉਂ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਆਮ ਪਤਾ ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਲੱਗਦਾ। ਆਮ ਲੋਕੀ ਸੋਚਦੇ ਆ ਖਾਲਿਸਤਾਨੀ ਫਾਈਟ ਕਰਨ ਰਹੇ ਆ, ਪਰ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਜਦੋਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਦੱਸਦੇ ਆ ਇਹ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਲਈ ਨਹੀਂ ਫਾਈਟ ਕਰਦੇ, ਇਹ ਪੈਸੇ ਲਈ ਫਾਈਟ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ, ਇਹ 1000 ਖਰਚ ਕੇ 50,000 ਲੈਂਦੇ ਨੇ। ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਇੱਕ ਇਹ ਬਿਜ਼ਨਸ ਦਾ ਬਣਾਇਆ ਹੋਇਆ ਗਰੁੱਪ, ਜਿੰਨਾ ਚਿਰ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਵੱਡੀ ਪੱਧਰ ਤੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੀਆਂ ਜੋ ਇਹ ਕਰਦੇ ਨੇ ਉਹ ਨਹੀਂ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਜਾਂਦਾ, ਉਨੀ ਦੇਰ ਇਹ ਰੋਕ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਕਦੇ। ਇਹ ਕੋਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਕਰਨੀ ਚਾਹੀਦੀ ਆ ਕਿ ਹਰ ਮਹੀਨੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਤੇ ਇੱਕ ਅੱਧਾ ਸੀਰੀਅਲ ਆਏ ਜਾਂ ਕੋਈ 2 4 6 ਮਹੀਨੇ ਬਾਅਦ ਫਿਲਮ ਆਏ। ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਆਪਣਾ ਸਟੇਟਸ ਕੀ ਆ, ਇਹ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਕੀ ਆ, ਇਹ ਕਰਦੇ ਕੀ ਆ, ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਮਿਸਗਾਈਡ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ, ਨੌਜਵਾਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਵਰਗਲਾਉਂਦੇ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਵਾ, ਇਹਨਾਂ ਕੋਲ ਪੈਸਾ ਕਿੱਥੋਂ ਆਉਂਦਾ, ਕਿੱਥੋਂ ਲੁੱਟਦੇ ਆ, ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਬੈਕਗਰਾਉਂਡ ਕਿਹੜੀ ਜਥੇਬੰਦੀ ਜਾਂ ਕਿਹੜਾ ਦੇਸ਼ ਕਰਦਾ ਵਾ। ਜਿੰਨਾ ਚਿਰ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਪੂਰਾ ਐਕਸਪੋਜ਼ ਨਹੀਂ ਕੀਤਾ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਉਨੀ ਦੇਰ ਇਹ ਨਹੀਂ ਗੱਲ ਠੀਕ ਹੋ ਸਕਦੀ। ਇਹ ਕੋਈ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਉਪਰਾਲਾ ਕੀਤਾ ਹੋਣਾ ਕਿ ਇਹ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਦੱਸੀਏ, ਇਹਨੇ ਕਿੰਨਾ ਗੱਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਬਣਨੀ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਪ੍ਰਚਾਰ ਦਾ ਕਰੋੜਾਂ ਦਾ ਬਜਟ ਹੈ। ਔਰ ਸਾਡੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਆ ਜਥੇਬੰਦੀਆਂ ਜਾਂ ਇੰਡੀਅਨ ਗਵਰਨਮੈਂਟ ਜਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ, ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਕਦੀ ਆ ਕਿਤੇ 6 ਮਹੀਨਿਆਂ 'ਚ ਇੱਕ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ, ਇਹਨੇ ਨਾਲ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਫਰਕ ਬਹੁਤਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਪੈਂਦਾ।
जी Puneet, your point of view, because ये double-edged sword हो गया ना, it becomes a double-edged sword. If these youth are misled and then you got FIRs against them, they are promised money, they've not even explained about history, they come here and then they do it, but then their career is then blackened because they are all part of the blacklist. एक FIR दर्ज हो गई, arrest दर्ज हो गया, तो कई जगह आपको नौकरियां नहीं मिलेंगी. You will always be seen with a particular from a particular lens that further pushes them into the abyss. So it's a double-edged sword. How does one deal with this?
So namaste Anand, thank you for inviting me. I will just take 3 points, one in India, one in UK and one in Canada, and that will pretty much give you a complete picture. Now first you look at Delhi, for example. I am from Delhi. Now Sikhs are a minority there, like 2.5%, and the worst excesses against Sikhs happened in Delhi, right? So if there was some Khalistan, it should happen in Delhi, where we are a minority, where Delhi program happened. But you see the Sikhs who are most against Khalistan, like me, there is Tajinder Pal Singh Bagga, then there is Jeet Jyot, a young guy, and we are all born after 84 as well. So it's not. But our understanding is that Hindu Sikhs were one. Even after the dark period of 84, we never faced any discrimination. So the terror that inflicted was on us. The death was because of this Khalistanis. That's why people should notice that the people who are most against Khalistan and standing up are actually Sikhs from Delhi. This they cannot explain the Khalistan. The second point is like from UK. Thekedar ji was also saying there is a guy, a Muslim guy. You maybe even know him, Wasiq guy. He comes and you know what happened with him. So Wasiq is speaking for years against Islamists in UK, and he's fine. But recently he spoke against Khalistan, and I don't know if you're following the news or not, but he had to go underground. He is now incommunicado, and after 24 hours he had to appear on the office of this Khalsa head, Ravi Khalsa, and grovel for an apology, and you can see that he is kind of a hostage and terrified. So these Khalistanis are even worse than jihadis, and this is what they are doing in UK. So it doesn't matter whether you have the number or not, but they are such criminals and they have inflicted such coercion and terror. And Wasiq is a perfect example of this. That this is it, that no decent person can speak. And now Anandji, the most important thing, this is all happening from Canada, and you know it and I know it, and Justin Trudeau is doing it. So all these perversions that were happening in Canada, put this graffiti. Now this is so pathetic. It's like writing Sonam Gupta bewafa hai, or some high school student abusing his teacher in the bathroom. They are such idiots and desperates. But again, this befits the cultures of Canadian Khalistanis. And all this nonsense that is happening, celebrate terrorists, abuse Hindus, do this kind of, this is coming from Canada. And Justin Trudeau is coming next month. And Anand bhai, it is your responsibility and that he is grilled, because he just gets up and speaks some nonsense. Because the way I see it, all this poison is coming from Canada, and he should get a royal welcome here, Justin Trudeau, and he should be grilled what he is doing. And this country is responsible for the greatest act of aviation terror before 9/11, and for all these terrorists and what is happening. And Canada is increasingly acting like an enemy country. This was also what Captain Amrinder Singh said, and we should take them to task. And if the Politicians cannot do of our country. It's the responsibility of right-thinking people like journalists like you, or like people like me, to take them to task.
See, my biggest problem is, Puneet, that you cannot broad brush an entire community. The work of 4 cannot be representative of say 4 crore or 40 lakh. That's where the problem is. Now, is there a way within which the seniors within the community, the parents, the Akal Takht, SGPC, and the Gurudwaras which are there, can they do something within the community? Should the community also be a little more stricter and stringent in naming and shaming these elements, rather than bearing it quietly and being frustrated that कि पूरी सिक्की का नाम खराब हो रहा है, and then being also afraid कि हम कुछ बोलेंगे तो वो हमारे रेस्टोरेंट पे पत्थर फेंक देंगे, हमारी माओ बहनों बेटियों पर फिर वो कुछ कर देंगे. These are the problems. So how does one deal with it? Because, like I said, that's why I said it's a double-edged sword. They are trying to develop a case or a situation where chit hum jeete pat tumhare.
No, Anand ji, buzdili ki saza maut hai. So the thing is, if they are attacking your daughters and if they are attacking your flag, you have to fight back. There is no two way of it. And so that is, like you have to see number one. Now SGPC, it is being heckled by Canadian Khalistanis. And I tell you what, like what they do with the right-thinking people. I give you a very pertinent example. Narendra Modi ji did, like of 24, like this Veer Bal Divas, celebrating, the martyrdom of younger sons of Guru Gobind Singh. And, again, because SGPC plays, a Pakistan type separate nationhood and Pakistan type, they started opposing it. They just have to oppose for a reason. And when the head of Patna Sahib Gurdwara, where Guru Gobind Singh was born, he supported it. Why are you opposing without any reason? It is something to welcome. You see the attack the SGPC and this Khalistanis from Canadian did to him, like you are a sellout or something like that. So SGPC and Canadian Khalistanis, they kind of like I think the Canadian Khalistanis heckle even the SGPC Khalistanis, which are just like bumbling idiots and don't know anything. But they oppose actually every right thinking say. If they say it, they just say like charge them from blasphemy or something like that. So you just start appeasing them, take it as a law and order issue, and deal with it. And this is what actually happened in Punjab. Like when the Punjab terrorism happened, this problem was mismanaged for a decade because everybody thinking, okay, we have to release. No, in the end it was sorted. It's a law and order issue. And you deal with a criminal like a criminal. It doesn't matter if he's wearing a turban or not, because what you don't understand is, like if he's a Sikh and he's committing a crime, like, okay, this one person stood out, but when he's going back to the community, most of his victims are going to be Sikhs as well. Because he's not living in some sky. He's living in some neighborhood. So you deal with a criminal like a criminal. It doesn't matter whether he's wearing a turban or not.
No, fair point made. Jaswant Singh ji, Kuldeep ji and Puneet Sahni, thank you so much for your time and thank you so much for being very forthright in your views, because this was an important discussion or a conversation that we needed to have.